Good morning, everybody. It's Diane Henderson here. I'm just making sure that I am seeing myself here. Give me 1 second. Should come up here. Give me 1 sec. If you know me, and I know a lot of you do, I am just so not techie. So give me 1 second here. It's probably the non-techie person. It's not coming up in a video. Oh. There we go. There we are. Thank you. Thank you. Stacy to the rescue. Oh, hello everybody. Hello. A couple of minutes late. Again, sorry. Like I say, if any of you know me, I am so not the techie person. Okay, I'll be the creative person, but not necessarily the techie person. And my boys will definitely concur with that. Anyways, good morning. It's just after 10 o'clock. I sound like a radio station. It's just after 10 o'clock in Vancouver, British Columbia. It is a cloudy, kind of sunny day. I hope the weather is good by you. I know yesterday when we were watching our Together at 2, there was quite a few comments about tornado warnings in Ontario, which is always scary to see as well. And I know looking at the reports this morning, there's across the whole country, there's some wicked weather going on. But anyhow, we are good here. Welcome to Crafty Hour 40. I just said to Diana 2 seconds ago, I really thought there'd be a mimosa or something sitting here for me when I'm hitting the Memento 40, but that's okay. I'd like to welcome you all, 40 of them. That's just crazy. And it's just such a true profit or whatever to Deanna and Courtney for putting these together. 40 of them. Like, that's just crazy. And they'll continue to do them. I know they say all the time they'll continue to do them as long as you guys love them. And I hope you do. We try and do different things, and I feel like our styles are all different. So that's kind of good. It gives you a mix-up of different ones to work with. So this is Crafty Hour 40. I just, like I say, cannot believe it. So welcome. I'm so glad you're here with me today. Today I tried to do something just a little bit different, and I thought, why don't we look at maybe doing 3 little note cards out of 1 sheet of cardstock. So it's 1 sheet of cardstock for your bases, and then of course we add our layers, and we have all these amazing die cuts that we were given in the kit, this amazing kit for Crafty Hour 40. So this is kind of what I came up with just 3 little cards that you would be able to use for any occasion. And I just want to hold them down so you can kind of see them a little bit better on the camera. I'll pop them up a little bit too. So it's just kind of a fun way of layering the dies, the die cuts that you were given, the paper die cuts, using that amazing embossing folder that you were given in your kit as well. And I know I did have a comment. I can't remember. I'm sorry who it was. I saw had a bit of problems with the embossing folder. Embossing folders can be tricky, especially if they're not 3D embossing folders, which this one kind of was. All I can suggest to people is if you ever have that kind of problem, just go ahead and add like a paper shim. I'll just use a piece of cardstock underneath my platform, and that seems to help. I didn't have any problems with this one. I have a Platinum 6. I know in the past in my Big Shot I did, and I just would add paper if I had to, and that seemed to help. So if you ever have an issue with your embossing folders, try that anyways. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off and we're just going to cut the 3 bases. That way we have the bases cut, and then we can just work with putting our decorations here together. So I'll just move the cards off to the side just for one quick second. And again, I know some of you are still just joining in. Thank you so much for being a part of this today. I'm thrilled to have you with me. I hope you're not sick of me. I get to even do the next one, so but I really do enjoy it, and I always appreciate Diane and Courtney for giving me the opportunity to do that too. So we're going to start by just cutting our 3-sheet, 3 mini cards. That's kind of what I called this little mini class that you're doing today. So if you want to grab your sheet, I had asked in homework for just a sheet of 8.5 by 11 white cardstock. It obviously could be 12 by 12 as well. It doesn't really matter. I think I've said in the past, and I'll tell you again, one of the paper I use all the time for my bases is the Nina, the Solar White Nina, the 110 pound. I love it. It's an awesome cardstock, and it just makes your cards stand up. I don't find they collapse. So I use the Nina white. The other awesome white cardstock that's so heavy is the Basil, the Marshmallow. I know that's Deanna's favorite, and it's a fantastic white cardstock. Again, nice and heavy to be able to keep your cards up. And if you're ever looking for a cream, I kind of stumbled upon this a little while ago, and for the next Crafty Hour, I'm actually doing a card in cream, and the Buttermints Basil. It's a beautiful cream cardstock. Again, about 110 pound. I don't know if you can get it in 12 by 12, 8.5 by 11. I'm not sure if Courtney has it in stock either. But that one, if you're ever looking for a really great weight of a cardstock, then you can definitely use that one as well. So just keep it in mind. If you're looking for a good weight of a cardstock, those are the ones that I play with anyways. So if you want to grab your sheet of your 8.5 or your 12 by 12, we're just going to cut it to 7 inches wide. So right now it's 8.5 by 11. We're going to cut it to 7 inches wide. Let's just put it on your trimmer and cut to 7 inches. There we go. And you're going to cut 3 3.5 inch strips. Okay, so those are our little card bases. So we've got 3.5, 3.5, and 3.5. So this way, like I say, it's one sheet of your cardstock to make your bases, and you make 3 little, nice little enclosure cards that you can put with any kind of a gift for somebody special. Okay, then we're going to just score them at 3.5. So they're going to be obviously 3.5 by 3.5. Okay, so just score them if you've got your scoreboard, or I love my Spellbinders trimmer, as I've said in the past, because I have my scoring blade and my cutting blade on this same trimmer at the same time. I don't have to go looking for it. And if you've got a burnisher, you can just, make sure that it's got a really good fold to it. Just score all 3, and that way we have our bases done. Whoops. And they're good to go. And one more. I always have to think, I am using the square blade, right? I have many a time cut them in half, let me tell you. Okay, so those are our 3 card bases. So we're good to go for just being able to create our 3 little mini cards now at this point. Okay, so I will take this sheet away. This was the one that had your dimensions. Again, take a screenshot if you want to, or whatever you want to do. You'll also have, if you're crafting along with me, your cards that you've got finished, and you can just go ahead and measure those afterwards if you're wanting to duplicate the sizing of them. So now, the other thing I asked for you to do in homework was to cut 2 pieces of your embossing folder. So to emboss 2 pieces, you probably don't need 2 pieces, but I didn't want us to cut it and you be short and then we'd have, you know, then I didn't want you, you know, messed up or anything too. So I thought, well, go ahead and cut 2. If you don't use them in this, then you can go ahead and use them for a background on anything else. This is a very cool embossing folder with the fan sort of design. The thing I like about it is it can be used for anything, and it can be used for a man or a woman because it just doesn't look, you know, florally like I always use. So this one is a little bit different and I really loved it. And again, it was included in your kit, which is just phenomenal, especially when you get a Spellbinders, anything Spellbinders added into your kits. That's fantastic. So now what we're going to do is you're going to grab your 2 pieces and we're going to cut 3 3x3 squares. Okay, and what I mean on this note here that I have is make sure there's no plain edges. So you're going to cut your squares. As you can see at the top of this, you can see the little, you know, rim or whatever you want to call it at the top. You really don't want to have that on your card. You want to make sure you're just getting your embossed pieces. So if you cut it to 3 inches on either side, you could even use the debossed side, which is very cool as well. So you have an option of either or. But if you want to cut it to 3 inches, and this side I don't have an edge or anything on, so I know I'm good. And really the design to me didn't make any difference. You're covering it up a lot of it with the die cuts, so it really didn't matter too much. So, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut another 3 inch. So see, as you can see, you probably, yeah, so you don't quite get if we're going to go 3x3, you don't get enough on this strip, and the one we've cut up, you don't have enough. So that's why it's just easier to have done 2. And now you can use the other one for, like I say, more little note cards or for another card itself. So if you look at this sheet that I had also embossed, see how I can see the edges on both sides that are straight. So what I would do is I would just cut that off, just take a little bit of it off. That way I don't have to worry about getting that on my edge. And we'll cut one more at 3x3. So now you have your 3 backgrounds. So we've done the 3 bases and we've done the 3 backgrounds. And now what we're going to do is we're going to just do different layers. 2 of them are with the gold that I asked you to grab, your Miri Gold. One of them has pink in it. And the other 2, 2 of them have pink in them. The other one did not. So now we are good to go. We've got our 3 bases, which are here, and I've got my 3 little embossed pieces. So I'm just going to stick those to the side because that's just what we're going to be playing with. And I'll stick this over to the side as well. So now we're going to go card by card. Okay, so card number 1. And the card number 1 is this guy here, which I just absolutely love. The other thing I loved about this kit is the paper die cuts. Courtney and I didn't have to worry about, because the nice thing about the Spellbinders kits, you always get 2 of each. So we can design away and we don't have to worry about, are you going to use this or are you going to use that? We don't have to worry about that, which is fantastic. The only thing I've used is a couple of the little foamy pieces, and those ones, and this chipboard flower here. Those ones, of course, we only had 1 of. So I have used them. I did let Courtney know, but just in case there was any overlap, that would be the reason why. We only get 1, of course, of the bigger things, the chipboards, the foam, that kind of thing. But so we'll go ahead and use them, and hopefully, like I say, Courtney won't have used that one today on her live. Okay, so I'll stick this little guy here. Actually, maybe I'll put him up here, and we'll put this down here. So that way, oh, bring it down a bit. That way you can see the card, and we'll go ahead and start cutting our pieces. So I had asked you to grab some gold mirrored paper. I always ask for gold more than anything else, only because I know a lot of you have bought the gold. I like using silver as well. It just seems that a lot of the designs that they come up with lend themselves to gold. But you can use whatever you want. If you'd rather just use a cardstock, you can do that as well. But I just figure a lot of you have the gold mirrored in your stash. So that's why I make sure that I kind of use that one most of all. But you could always use a color that you'd prefer to use as well. Or you could use a dark brown or whatever you'd prefer. So for card number 1, we're going to cut a piece of the gold mirrored paper 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. So this is, as you can tell, is only going to be a tiny bit bigger than that embossed piece that we just did. So it's just going to have a little tiny border around the outside of it. Okay, so that is our background for card number 1. And I also used the pink. Now, the pink, the cardstocks, you again received 4 of each color of the cardstocks. So you had 2 from me and 2 for Courtney. So that's great when we can get that many pieces of cardstock. We don't have to worry about that too much as well. So you can grab a little piece of the pink. And I think I only used 1 for the 2 cards that I put pink on. So, okay, so now we're going to cut a piece of the pink cardstock. And again, if you'd prefer to use a different color, go for it. But we're going to cut a piece of the pink cardstock 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So 3 1/4 on my trimmer and 3 1/4. And you have a couple little strips left, and you never know when those might come in handy as well. We're not going to use them today, but you probably will, you know, you can always use those up afterwards. Okay, so let's grab one of our card bases. This little card base. And I'm just going to grab my die cuts here too. All right, so now what we're going to do is let's start building our background for card number 1. Now, I did card number 1 this way. One of the other cards I did do as a tent. If you'd prefer to have them all as a tent, go for it. It really doesn't matter because it's a square card. You can do it either or. You can either have it going as your tent card like that, or you can have it opening up. Sometimes I do it more this way because I sometimes find tent cards tend to open up a little bit, but you can do it either way, whichever you'd prefer. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the piece of embossed that we had cut in, or that we just cut, and you had embossed in homework. Again, I don't care about the design, but you can decide which way you want the little fans to go. And I put this on with foam tape. So I just gave it a little bit of a lift going from the embossed onto the gold. So I'll just use my pop dots here. Put this on. And again, it's up to you layer-wise. If you'd prefer it all to be flat, you can do it all flat. These kind of cards, I would say you probably wouldn't mail. I think probably these would be more of a little gift enclosure card that you'd be able to stick onto a bouquet of flowers or a nice box of candy or whatever you wanted to do. I do a lot of my cards like this. Very few of my cards get mailed, and if they do, I do tend to keep them obviously flatter, just because they get smushed. Okay, so we've got our embossed piece onto the gold. Then I put the gold onto the pink, and I did that just flat. Again, totally up to you. If you want to build it even further, you're welcome to it. I'm just going to use my little glue runner here. Whoops. I love this glue runner, by the way. I just had a conversation with Tracy last week about this glue runner, and it is very good. I find it to be very strong, and I just find it easier, especially when I'm working on a time. I want to make sure that I'm not, you know, using Sukwang, and that is fantastic, but it just takes time to put it on and peel it off and that kind of thing. I just find this is quicker. Okay, so there you go. So you've got your 3 layers. You've got your embossed, onto the gold, onto the pink. And this is going to go on to your base. And it does keep a nice little frame around the outside of your white. So you can, again, I put this on flat. You could put it on with foam tape if you wanted to. I kept this flat only because I figured we're kind of building up our little die cuts as well. So that makes it a little bit thicker. And this one I did as an opening card, not as a tank card. And there is our base. So quick and easy, but it really has a nice effect, especially with that gold. I love that gold as a matte. It really is just adds something to it. So these are my die cuts, and I did post a picture in homework for the die cuts that we were going to use on each card. So these are the die cuts we are going to use. This one here, this long garland, we're just going to cut in half, and we're going to use it one piece on this card and one piece on card number 2. So if you want to just stick it to the side for card 2, that's when we're going to use the other side of it. All right, so now what we can do is just build it. And again, you don't have to build it exactly how I did. I just kind of layered it. I used so the first one we're gonna stick down is this little sign that says follow your heart. And I stuck it flat, and I had it kind of coming off the top of my card. So all I did was put a little bit of glue, and I put it about, I don't know, ½ an inch in, something like that. But again, you can play with these. You can go ahead and do it whichever way you want to do it, or you can use other die cuts. There are so many die cuts in this kit. It's incredible. So you have so many paper die cuts that you're able to work with. You don't have to just use the ones that I have. But the nice thing is you're going to be able to create so many more cards. And especially after, I'm sure, when you see what Courtney has done, which is always phenomenal, I'm sure she's playing around with them as well. Okay, so I actually built that one up a little bit higher this time. I'm going to build it down a little bit. But I just have it kind of coming off the card. So you've got your follow your heart just at the top. And I did that one flat. Okay, so now we're going to grab the crate piece, I call it. So that's this one here, the little wooden box with the flowers. And I put it onto here with some foam tape. So I just put it over top of my my little sign, and I just have it coming off the card a little bit. So I just use some foam tape or my tabs or whatever you want to use. Again, it can be flat if you'd prefer. It can be built up more if you'd prefer. I know Diane does a lot of like double foam tape and things like that as well. Hey, go for it. Whichever you want, that's what you want to go with. I really have to work crafty hours into my nail appointments so they're not so long. I'm getting them done, but not till Sunday, so they're a bit on the long side at this point. Okay, so we're just going to peel off these guys. There we go. All right, and then we're going to just stick our little crate, and you can decide how high you want to have it. This one's going to be a little bit, I did my sign a little bit higher, so I'm going to see a little bit more of it, which is kind of cute because it's got the little hearts, which I just noticed down here on the bottom of the sign. So that's kind of cute to have that sticking up there too. Okay, so you can just have that one over there to the side, and it's just on your foam tape, so it's built up a little bit, which is really cute. Okay, so we've got that. Now we're going to put the pink flower. Okay, so I haven't got one, so I'm just going to tell you because, like I say, the chipboard. This here was the chipboard, and you can add it whenever you want. Or no, I think that might be a paper die cut. Maybe I just didn't grab it. Well, that's okay. You can do it afterwards, but this is just one of the pink flowers, and I put it just over top with some foam tape. You can position that wherever you want. If you don't want to cover up this pink flower, which is actually on the print on the crate, you could add flowers somewhere else. And I was also going to mention the last couple of crafty hours, I believe, we've had so many little, the last one that we did, you know, the one with the medallions, there were tiny little flowers in that. reuse some of those dies and that you've been given in the other crafty hours, because they would be adorable to attach onto these. And we sometimes have a few crafty hour kits left over as well. Always check back. If you go on to Crafty Hour Creations and check the events, get in touch with us. Find out if we still happen to have a kit. A lot of them sell out, but there's always the odd time when there is a few left. And they're great for the dies, especially when they have little flowers. You can use them over and over again. Okay, so we're going to, let's just go ahead and, like I say, you can add that little flower afterwards. So I'll put that one back down here. Now we're going to just add our 2 leafy parts. So what I did for this is I just did this one kind of coming off the side. And sometimes you'll find that you go to stick it in and it's like, uh-oh, that's where my, you know, my tabs are, so it's too close. You can just cut off the part down here, because you're not going to see it when you stick your leafy part inside. So you can just go ahead and cut that off and then add a tiny little bit of glue. And I just had this one kind of coming off the side. So it's just adding a little more leaves. And I just add the glue obviously down at the base so that I can flip this up and have that kind of coming off. So I'll just put a tiny bit of glue down here and then just stick it in wherever you like. I just felt that when you stick this one in, it kind of counterbalanced this sort of leafy one coming over here. And then you can just hold it down for a sec, just for your glue to dry. And then when that's dried, like I say, you can just kind of flip these guys up a little bit just to give it a little bit more dimension. Okay, and then the other die cut that we had was this one. This is the one we just cut in half. And we're just going to poke it into here. Now, again, you can decide, do you want it to be that long? Do you want it to be shorter? However you want to do it, you can cut it, and because again, it's going to go in behind. You're never going to see that you've cut off the base of it. I'm going to leave it the way that I have on this one because I kind of like the longer stem, but entirely up to you. You're just going to build it to whatever you'd like. And I kind of like that that is a little bit longer coming off my card on this one. Okay, so there you go. That is exactly the base that I did on this one. And I flipped up this too, just kind of flipped that up a little bit. And just had these guys kind of coming over a bit more as well. So you just get the dimension on it. And it's kind of fun to be able to play around with it. And there's, like I say, so many more die cuts. If you want to add more all around, go for it, because you'll have a whole bunch that you're able to play with, which is just fantastic. So then the only other thing that I did on this one is the little foam butterfly. You will find that in your kit. Obviously, I will only have one, but you would have a little foam guy. And one thing that I did do on that, and I have talked about it in the past, and I know Diane has as well, is when you're working with the foam, let me just find it here. Oh, there's so many. Like, these are just, like, look at how much stuff is here. It's just crazy. And I barely even touched any of it. Look. So when you're working with the foam, what I did, I'll just show you on this one. There's another little blue butterfly in here. And something that I will do when I'm doing this, and I want to make sure that it doesn't flatten, and I want to put a pop dot behind it. So I put my pop dot onto the back of it, and I leave the release paper just for 1 second. And I don't know how many of you have this. This is a powder tool. And this is, I love these because all you're going to do is just add the powder. It's not going to get onto that adhesive because I've still got my release paper on that. Then I peel off my release paper, and what that means is all this other part is not going to stick because it's now dry. So then you can just decide wherever you'd like to position. This is a cute little butterfly too, which would work on this card as well. So I'm just going to position my butterfly wherever I want to put it, just like that. But that powder tool is great. It's a great way that you don't have, you know, you don't have it sticking when you've got it on there. You should have it, Lori, that Signs die cut. There should actually be 2 of them because I used my one on there. take a look, because sometimes they get stuck in between. There's so many die cuts in those packs as well. And then the only other thing I did was, I think it was on, yes it was on the same sheet that I just took the butterfly off. There was a little word called celebrate, and I just stuck the word celebrate directly onto my crate. If you wanted to do it with foam tape behind so it pops up a little bit, you could do that as well. But that was, you know, quick and easy, and I thought it was just so cute. It really added to like a real botanical kind of look, which this whole kit does. So, and then the only other thing, the flower that we attached on here, the pink flower that you can attach afterwards, I added a gold gem in the center. These gold gems, again, are those Spellbinders fashion gold gems. And I know we're getting some more of those back in, Stacy told me yesterday. And you can double check with Courtney too. I'm sure she has them. I use them on almost everything. I used them on the last Crafty Hour. I'm using them today, and I'm using them on the next one as well. So they're a great, great set, because you get a whole, the different sizes from the little ones all the way up to the big. So there is card number 1 done. And again, a cute little card. You can add a sentiment to it. You don't have to put celebrate. You could use it for any you know, card for birthday or whatever you want to do it for. Okay, so card number 2. Card number 2 is this guy. So this is card number 2. And this one was really neat because all I did was just sort of layer things right on top of each other. So the only other thing we have to do for card number 2 is cut a strip of your patterned paper. So you'll see this kind of periwinkle blue pattern paper. We just have to cut a piece of that. But I will put the dimensions right here, right now. Well, leave the little card up there. There you go. Okay, so we're first of all going to cut our mirrored gold just like we did for the other one. So another piece of mirrored gold, 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. So that's the same dimension as we did on card number 1. 3 1/8. There we go. And we're going to cut a piece of the pink cardstock again, 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So you do have 4 sheets of it. You've got 2 for me and 2 for Courtney. So you're good. If Courtney, I'm not sure if Courtney is using it or not, but you don't have to worry about it. So 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. That's for our pink background. And again, you don't need to use pink if you'd prefer to use more of a blue tone. Some of you may have the blue mirrored or things like that. That would be pretty as well. Okay, and then you want to grab the patterned paper strip. There's my pattern papers. They're right here. And I still have mine from doing my samples. So this is the blue. It's sort of a periwinkle with a little floral design in the background. And we're going to cut a piece of that 1 1/2 inches by 2 7/8. Okay, so just before the 3, 2 7/8. Just like that. And that's just adding a tiny little bit of a background here on our embossing folder. So that's what we're going to do for this one. Okay, so you can go ahead and grab your embossed, another one of your embossed pieces, your second embossed piece. Let me just check and see how we're doing. Oh, look at Clipper Street. So new product alert, Spellbinders just released 9 new gems. Oh my goodness, I will be in love. I love them. They're the best gems. Where do I have them? Right here. These fashion gold ones, and I just love them because they go from the teeny tiny guys all the way up to the big ones, and I use them all the time because they're just a really nice size and very good adhesive wise too, not on a string, all individually. So okay, so there's our pieces now for card number 2. We've got our, grab another one of our bases, we've got our pink, gold, and our embossed piece, and we've got our little strip of the blue periwinkle. Okay, just leave that there just so you have that. Okay, so now we're going to take our gold piece or sorry, our embossed piece, and put it onto our gold Mary with foam tape. So I'm doing the same as what I did in the first one. And again, like I mentioned, you can use foam or you can do it flat, whatever you'd prefer. I hope everybody's doing okay. I'm trying to check messages here. Yeah, I haven't seen a replacement for the powder tool either. But I use so little of it. I probably have had that powder tool for, oh my goodness, years. But yeah, it's a good question, but I have not seen a replacement. Everybody's okay? Everyone's doing all right? Following along all right? Maybe you're just enjoying a cup of coffee or tea and just watching. That's great too. There was a replacement a ways back, Leslie Ann? Maybe, yeah. Like I say, I don't know. I have had mine forever, but I sure love it to be able to take that adhesive off. Okay, so we've got our embossed piece and we're putting it onto our gold with foam tape. There we go. And then both pieces onto the pink flat. And again, I'm not worrying about which way the little fan background goes. I just think it really doesn't matter. It's just a real nice kind of Art Deco kind of look background. It would be beautiful embossing out of the foil in that too. I think it would really show it off. Okay, and then, so we've got our 3 layers of that, and then we're gonna put it onto our base, and this one I did as a tent, so I did it the other way. Again, you can do it this way to open, or do it as a tent. This one I just did as a tent just to make it a little bit different. And I just did it flat. And there we go. Okay, then we're just going to attach our light blue little strip that we cut. And I did it pretty well half, just so I had my embossing still at the top and at the bottom, and it's not quite onto the side, so I see a tiny, teeny, tiny little bit of white on either side as well. And I just attached that flat. There we go. There's our base. So we're all built on our little base. Let me see if I can stick this down here. Maybe it'll hold it. There we go. Okay, and then you can grab your die cuts that I had asked you to grab. And we have the sprig that we cut in half from card number 1 too. So these are the ones. And again, you go ahead and add whatever you want or do them in a different order, however you want to do it, or don't do it the way that I've done it. I just kind of played around when I was looking at all the die cuts just to see what I could do with them. So, okay, so this guy here, this is the first one, and I put it on the onto the card like this, and I just put it on flat. And again, I had it kind of coming off the card, so I have it, you know, past the gold, just to have some sort of a dimension coming off. So I just put it on there, and I just did that one flat. And I put numbers on the back of them too. I see that. Wow. I don't remember. I designed these quite a while ago, so I can't remember exactly when I go to do them. Okay, so that's how I did the first one. So I just put it on there just like that, flat. Oh, I'm sorry about that. The die, some of the die cut's missing. That's too bad. Okay, so there is our background. Like I say, there's so many, you can play around and do the same sort of ideas without having to even worry. So you're good to go, that's for sure. Okay, so now we are going to, and we've got that coming up there, perfect. Okay, so now we're going to do, I believe I used this guy next, yes. Okay, so this flower here, I put it onto our base, just the way it is right there. And all I did was I added foam tape and I had it kind of overlapping so you can sort of see how when I put this on here, I have the leaves kind of coming down off the top, and I am covering up this little blue flower here, but that's okay because we've got lots of the little blue ones kind of coming off the side. So I just had it so that this flower was coming down just like that. And you can do it as much as you want because the little postage stamp is going to go over top. So it just depends on how much if you want this flower. If you want it a little bit lower, you could go ahead and do that as well, whichever you'd prefer. And you're just going to put that on with your foam tabs. It's just a way of, it's, you know, kind of like the toppers that we all love so much from the different companies, and it's kind of playing around doing toppers without them being actual, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. You're just building your, however you want to do it. Okay, so again, we're just going to take the flower and just bring it down. Just get my sample here so you can see it. So I have, see how the leaves are over here are coming off it, and then this little sprig just kind of goes at the top. And that way you can see, right now you can see this white flower on the side, but we're gonna stick a sprig in there so you don't have to worry about it. And you can just do it as much as you want to have it coming down. So just like that. Okay, so just like that. Then we can take our stamp, our postage stamp, which is so pretty. And again, position it wherever you want. If you'd rather have it come down a little bit more so that you could have more of this pink flower showing, you can definitely do that. Or when I did it, I really almost covered up the whole pink flower. I've got just the top of it sticking out. So it's however you want to have it. If you prefer to have it, have a little bit more of the pink flower showing, go ahead. Have your little stamp come down a little bit more. And that way you could even have your little sentiment like I have here. It could be here as well. It can even go off the side if it was a little bit longer, if you did thinking of you. I kind of like that now that I've got it that way. I think I'm going to have it come down a little bit more. It's really just playing around. You've got so many things, so many options. Put 2 of those guys on there. Okay, and I'm going to have a little bit more of that pink flower showing and have it coming off a little bit more on this one. So you totally decide. You can have it over here more, or you can have it up more, whatever you prefer. And then these guys can kind of pop, like I say, come down a little bit more too. So we go. So that's our 3 main layers. And then all I did for these 2 guys was just sort of stick them in the side. So like I said, this one here covered up the white flower. Obviously it's too long, so I just cut it to the length you want it. Again, depending on how much you want to have coming off your card, if you want to have it longer like that. See, even that looks really pretty. Like, I don't mind. Like I say, I'm probably not going to mail this card, or even if you were going to mail it, you would have a bigger envelope. So in this one, I think I'll keep it a little bit longer. Put my little bit of glue on there and then just tuck it inside. Just hold it for a sec. Okay, so we're going to have that one coming off there and have this little guy. This was the other die cut that I asked you to pull, this tiny little three leaf little die cut, and he's just going to stick right in here on the side. So again, when they're dry, you can flip them up a little bit and you get that dimension on both sides of your card. So just like that. So I just stuck my little guy right in here. So it is kind of different. If you look at the two cards, the one that I designed is my sample, and then the one that I, whoops, bring it down a little bit. The one I've just done now, I have more of this flower showing, and I had less of it on this one. It like I say, play around with it. See whatever you think. The colors are beautiful. I love them. So, and then all I did was I added a gem to the center of the postage stamp. This little hello, because there wasn't sentiments in the class, except for I used the little celebrate on that first one, the foam ones, which are great. This one here, I've used this before. I love this set. This is a Hero Art set, the stamp bundle. It's called Friendly Messages. And so you get the stamp set with all the different sentiments on it, and then all the dies. And it's a fantastic one. So you just go ahead and stamp it and then roll it through your die, position it in place. I always use my removable tape, my Spellbinders yellow tape, roll it through, and you get the actual cut coming right off of the die. It's a great set. I don't think we have any in stock right now, and whether Courtney does or not, but I know it is still available, so you'd be able to order it for sure. And then we had a whole whack of these amazing enamel. Like I say, I never even went into these words, and I was thinking of like a scrapbook page or something like that. Fantastic. But you have all these little enamel dots and the little enamel hearts in the different colors as well. So all I did was just add one of my little enamel dots, or hearts, sorry, underneath my sentiment, just flat, because they're already adhesive. So I just stuck it right on. It was great. Easy to do. And you could add more. You could put one up here, you know, have a couple down here as well. But you've got so many choices because there's just so many available to you. So that is card number 2. So we've got two little greeting cards now. And we're doing pretty good for time. Okay, so now we're going to just do card 3. And I will grab and stick it again in here so you can holds it down. There we go. And here is our, everybody's okay? I'm not rushing anybody, I hope. Now there's a bunch of die cuts missing. I don't know. I will talk, Deanna's obviously probably seeing this as well, but of course we don't go through them when we get the kits either, but that's too bad. I am sorry, but again, play with the ones that you have because there's all kinds that you can use. Okay, so we are now going to, for card number 3, we already have our base, we already have our embossed piece of paper. This one, all I did was matte in white. If you know me, I like to have my embossed, and then I always like to have a white cardstock matte. So that's what I did on this one. I did it a little bit different. I didn't use the pink on this one. So if you have another scrap of your white cardstock, I'll just use the sheet here. Okay, and we just need a piece of white cardstock, 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. So again, it's just going to be a tiny little border around the embossed piece that we cut to 3 by 3. Tiny little border, 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. That's right, Linda, they do. They stick together too. So do a look. I mean, I know Fran said she looked for quite a while, so... but yeah, it's there's just so many, they do stick together. So that's just going to be a tiny little white border around your embossed. And we're going to cut a piece of the gold mirror again, 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And you, like I say, you don't need to use the gold. A lot of you have the assortment packs and that. It's just, I never know what people have. I don't want to use like a pink mirrored paper and you don't own it. So gold and silver tend to be the ones that most people have. But again, you can substitute out. You can just use cardstock. You can use glitter paper. You can use whatever you want for your mats. Okay, so there's our 3 layers for card number 3. Just move, I'll leave that there so you've got it. Grab my instructions and my die cuts. Okay, so we're going to do the embossed piece onto the white cardstock with foam tape, just like we did before. So just grab your white and white. And you can always go on, if not Spellbinders site, but I find Pinterest as well. If you type in the name of the, Spellbinders and the name of the embossing folder. I don't have, oh, it's right here. No, I don't have it handy. But whatever the name of the embossing folder is, you can type that into Pinterest as well. And most of the time you will find different designs and that people have used with it. I found that especially for the last Crafty Hour, the medallions. I always call them medallions, but they were the tiles. There's lots of designs on Pinterest for those. Okay, so we've got the white on the white with foam tape, and then onto the gold, just flat. There we go. Okay, and then onto your card base, also flat. And I did this one. Oh, I did do it as a tent card. Again, either way, whichever way you'd prefer to do it. But I did mine as a tent. So I'll just stick it on flat. Yeah, I love that gold. And like I say, you know me, I love to have that little bit of a white cardstock piece in behind my embossed piece. So that is that one there. Okay, so now we are going to, I'll show you what I did for this next one, how I put it together. It's very easy. I mean, we're only using a few little die cuts here. But the way that I did it, because it made the most sense to me. Actually, it probably is I started one way and turned it the other way, but that's okay. It worked the easiest for me. So what I did was for this one here, this big one, this guy here that I had asked you to pull, as you can see, you don't even see this dark blue flower on the card. It's hidden in behind the little kettle here. So, but what I did, which I found to be the easiest, is I started making it this way, and then I turned it this way. You can do it either way. It doesn't really matter, but I just found this was the easiest way for me to be able to kind of plan how I had my card go. But again, you go for it, do however you want to do it. And then what I did was I put, so this guy went on flat. So this is how I started it. Went on flat, then I turned it this way. But so he's on flat, and then this one is on with foam tape. So that way I don't see the dark blue, and I wanted to still see these little green leaves. If you can see them kind of off here, I kind of had those. Just see, so if I turn that die just a tiny little bit, I still have these leaves poking out. So when I have this on with my foam tape, I can still pop these off. So we're going to stick this one on flat. There we go. And then this one is going to go on with my foam tape. I'll just have it up here. Put it there so you can see it. So just off to the side. And that way you get lots of these cute little leaves kind of poking out, but you don't see the dark blue. The dark blue just didn't lend itself to me when it was such a soft sort of pastel-y kind of look. So then I just used my foam tape or tabs to put this guy on. And I think we had a few left of this kit as well. So if you're talking to somebody and they didn't sign up or wanted one, we do have, I think, a couple of these left. Not very many, because it really was a great kit. Or if you want to get an extra one or whatever as well. Okay, so this is how I kind of played with it, and then I turned it this way. But you can do it either way. You could have it this way as well, with your card coming over to the right-hand side. Either way, we got lots, like I say, you can play with. Okay, and then I had the little kettle. And the kettle I put on with double foam tape, only because I really wanted it to come off this flower. If I put just my general one on, or just my one layer, I felt that it was too flat. So I put double, and then that way it really pops up off of my flower design. So just like that. Okay, and then I added the little flower, the little yellow flower that I asked you to grab. It's just got a tiny little piece of foam tape on it, and I just covered up the little yellow flower on my kettle. So just here, but I thought it gives it, again, some dimension. So you've got like the 3-4 layers of the different layers with the die cuts. And there's lots of leaves. Again, some of the past crafty hours, we've also been given sort of little viney things that you can poke in. Do some of those and stick them in behind. It's a great way of being able to have more, little die cuts and stuff in there too. And just the little gold gems in the center of the flowers. And the Simple Pleasures is off of your die cuts. So this one here, the chipboard die cuts, it was this piece right here that I used, and I just put the word Simple Pleasures and just kind of stuck it up enough that it was showing underneath my leaves that I can poke up here just like this, and I put it on with foam tape just so it popped up off the little card. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. I thought it was just sort of another idea of not having to build big cards, build little cards, and that you can use so many of the different die cuts and the different layers and things like that to play around with. So I hope it was beneficial for you, that you enjoyed seeing what I kind of planned. I'm going to stick these on here and they'll kind of... and then my inspiration, which I always kind of try and do one little inspiration thing, is I did a little box. And I thought, I just bought this box at a dollar store. You should be able to grab them at a dollar store or a place that maybe sells bakery boxes or something along those lines. And I just put the little, this little guy on top. Very easy. I have the dimensions and I will post them. This happy birthday is again from that same sentiments line, the Hero Arts one that I absolutely love. So all I did was stick this is a long die cut. I just stuck it on flat and put the yellow flower into the middle of it. And then all you would do is just grab like some ribbon, a nice light blue or something like that. Put your 3 little cards into the box, and what a nice little gift for somebody. If you were going to give them a little gift, that's a great way to be able to give them cards that they're going to be able to reuse as well. And with all the die cuts that you have in the kit, you'd be able to make lots of little cards and lots of little boxes. So I will post the dimensions for this tonight probably. So you'll have the dimensions for putting it on through the box. But you can adapt if you find a box that's a little bit bigger. Sorry, move that up a tiny little bit. There we go. Yeah, the Sentiments die, it's a set and it's from Hero Arts. It's called Everyday Greetings, I believe it is called. No, Friendly Greetings, sorry. And it's a stamp and die bundle. So you get the stamps and you get the dies. So that's what that one is called. And like I say, I don't think we have any in stock right now, but we will have, we can always get them in as well. So I will post the dimensions for that. Next Crafty Hour will be Crafty Hour 41. That one is coming up on June the 6th. We do still have a few kits. That's this guy here, the Sunflower Summer. Beautiful color palette to work with. And we also have, you get the stickers, you get the cardstock, you get the paper pad. So we still have a few of those if you want to sign up for those. And then the next release will be Crafty Hour 42. Now that's going to happen tomorrow. Normally we do it at 9 a.m. There's been a bit of a delay, so it will happen at 10 a.m. tomorrow, but the event has been posted, so you can go ahead and put that you're interested. That way you'll receive the notification for it tomorrow as well. But it'll be 10 a.m. Pacific tomorrow, and that'll be Crafty Hour 42, and I assume it'll be near the end of June, because the 41 is the 8th. So 2 weeks later, that one would be on there as well. Again, I hope you enjoyed this. I try and come up with different ideas so that I'm not doing the same old all the time. But I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget, Courtney today is at 5 o'clock Pacific time, and she'll have an awesome crafty hour as usual. Always comes up with some really cool things. And again, I always remind people to make sure that you join Crafty Hour Creations. It's a great way to see all the past videos. Like I was saying before, that if we happen to have any kits left, you can always order those. And it's a great way to see those past crafty hours and to get info on homework. And like I say, I post the inspirations and things like that that I can put on there too. And I've gone over the new crafty hours. I think that is it. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward. I will be with you on June 8th for the Sunflower Summer one. And I have an interactive card I've kind of already designed on that one too. So that'll be a little bit different as well. So I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you again, and we will talk to you real soon. And remember to join or watch tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific, for the new release of the next Crafty Hour. All right, have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye.